Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Flashback number 11, the first movie flashback of 2024. As I promised, I will be giving you another 10 movie flashbacks this year. And what I did not realize is a lot of films are celebrating milestone anniversaries this year. It took me the last 4 months to pick 10 films and that I wanted to do movie flashbacks for, but I got the 10 films. So look forward to these flashbacks between now and December. The reason why episode one is the first flashback of this year is because today is Star Wars Day. Okay, it is a holiday on my personal calendar. So let me start off with the tradition. Happy Star Wars Day, everyone, and may the 4th be with you. As always, my flashbacks starts off with the basics. So here we go. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is an epic space opera written and directed by George Lucas. It was released in theaters on May 16th, 1999. So this year we're celebrating its 25th anniversary. The running time is 2 hours 13 minutes. It had a budget of $115 million and it grossed $1 billion at the box office. So, if you guys were around in 1999, that was an incredible year at the movie theater. Okay, I mean, I practically lived at the movie theater that year on the weekends. Um, some incredible films came out back in 1999. So I have, fond memories of that year at the movies. Over the decades, George Lucas has shared a lot with fans on how and why he made this film, which, as the Star Wars fans know, this film starts the Star Wars prequel trilogy, where you find out how Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi, became Darth Vader, the villain in the original Star Wars trilogy. And at the time, what made the Star Wars prequels unique is the fact that at the time, most films weren't exploring how a villain becomes a villain. And so that's what made Star Wars prequels stand out. The fact that we're not we're not following the hero. We're really following the anti-hero who became the one of the greatest villains of all time. Because a lot of people love to hate Darth Vader, but that was a very interesting and unique take that George Lucas decided to do at that time. Um, you can find interviews of George Lucas, so I won't go into detail here. I would rather you watch George Lucas's interviews because he is one of the most fascinating people in the world and he gives great informative interviews. And if you are an aspiring filmmaker, you should watch George Lucas's interviews. And if you are just curious to go behind to get inside some of the thoughts that George Lucas has have on filmmaking, um, his interviews are also for you as well. What I will share is the memories I have of this film. I took my sister Nadia to see this film in theaters. At the time, I was in college and she was in elementary school. And when the reviews came out, some critics gave it some low scores. I'm talking about 2.5 out of 5 stars, 5 out of 10 stars. But at the time, I used to watch Roger Ebert, and he gave this film 3 out of 4 stars. I actually agree with Ebert because if there is one reason to watch episode one on the big screen, it's the pod race scene. That scene left me speechless when I first saw the film, and to me, the film is still entertaining and still gives me goosebumps. Every time I watch the pod race scene, it kind of reminds me of the chariot race scene from Ben-Hur. And if I remember correctly, I think I heard in an interview that George Lucas did that he was inspired by the chariot race in Ben-Hur as his inspiration to do the pod race scene. So that could be the reason why I love that scene so much, and it's actually my favorite scene in the entire film. Eventually, the audience disagreed with a lot of the film critics. Most of the fans at that time, including myself, loved episode 1, and the film ended up on Empire magazine's list of the 500 greatest films of all time. And, in my opinion, that's a pretty big deal because, just in case you don't know film history, I believe, if I remember correctly, that since the invention of the video camera, there have been close to 80,000 films made throughout the world. I'm talking, that includes Hollywood movies, Bollywood movies, European movies, African movies, South American movies, you name it, the entire world in the past 130 years have made close to 80,000 films. So to narrow it down to 500, that's a big deal. So over the time, the negative criticism of the film and its flaws have died down, and eventually it became a classic that people have enjoyed watching over and over and over again. And I have to admit that when the film came out on DVD, I went to go buy it on DVD. So I actually have a lot of Star Wars films on DVD. I'm a big fan of George Lucas. I'm a big fan of the Star Wars franchise. And I think that what they have done in the years or the decades since have been pretty impressive. And, I will continue to support the Star Wars franchise. So before I say goodbye, I want to propose a toast to Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Cheers! Mm. Woo! Okay, so at the time that I am recording this, it is in the morning, and so I'm having orange juice. So yeah, I'm not the type of person that drinks in the morning. I usually drink at night. So that is all for today, my friends, and I will see you next time with another movie flashback. Until then, may the force be with you always. Happy Star Wars Day!